Hi, everybody. I'm Bob Schneider. Welcome to the Song Club.
I knew it was a bad idea to meet you here, my dear.
Oh, yeah. Here we are at the Song Club. Song Club 2023 in effect. Fully in effect. A little hungry. 2023 is going to be a hungry year. Did I do the podcast last month? I don't know. I really have no idea what I've done, what I'm doing, why I'm doing it anymore. But we're here, so let's just enjoy it. Let's just enjoy it, I guess. Maybe I'll learn how to talk at some point during this podcast. I want to thank all my Patreon supporters. You guys are the best. If you're not a Patreon supporter, it's easy to become one. Go to Patreon, Patreon. Spelling's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. And sign up today, and you'll get all the songs that you'll hear today on the Song Club, along with some other stuff like live streams and, I don't know, lyrics, karaoke tracks, so you can get together with your friends and sing Bob Schneider songs. Because you'll have the lyrics and you'll have the karaoke tracks, so that's unlimited fun. We don't charge for the amount of fun that you have with this extra stuff. We charge the bare minimum. We're not doing this thing that everybody else is doing called raising the prices. We keep them low. We keep them 70s low. And that's the way we go. So anyways, it is, if you're listening to this in the now, it's February 2023. We just had a giant ice storm again, which was fun. All the trees broke in Austin. And then the ones that didn't break fell over. So I had most of my trees broke, and then 2 giant trees fell over. And only one of them that fell over did anything. It broke one of the windows over there. But it didn't break it all the way through. It just made it look like there's a spider web on there. But a spider web of broken glass. So I got to get that fixed at some point. Now, am I the kind of guy that gets that kind of shit fixed immediately? Not really. Chances of that getting fixed in 2023, 50-50. Chances of it getting fixed in 2024 if it doesn't get fixed in 2023, 50-50. It's at 50-50 every year. I don't know what that means. If I was a mathematician, I'd be working for an insurance company. I'd be making that do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. But I'm not. I'm just a simple songsmith. And that's what I do. I write songs. So let's get right into it and see what songs we've got this month here at the Song Club. That's about B. Schnitty's Song Club. It's getting a little pixelated around the edges. I might have to dust that up. Get off of there, pixels. Oh, hard to get them off. All right, so let's get into it. Let's look at the last song that I wrote. It's called "The Honesty's Too Much," without the "the," and it's a song about. Well, it's a song about being a baller or a player, I guess. I don't know. Let's listen to it, and then we'll talk about it afterwards. Here it is. "The Honesty's Too Much." Let's get it cranking, though, for goodness sakes. Yeah. Already it's got a good vibe. Pretty funky. My feet made of maple, beat like a staple, holding it together till the dawn. Pull back the label, unlimited cable, baby, when I hit it, you're gone. Once upon a wonderland, used to be like Alice, now I'm like gone with the wind. Stable imagination, meet me at the station, one on the asteroid man. Pretty funky. the semen, shout it all out so I never leave a stain. Lemon, lemon, lime, yeah, if you got the time, I got these brand new rhymes, let me kick it. Stick it in the ground, grow it all around. I was baking, now I'm naked. And sometimes when we touch, the honesty's too much. And I have to close my eyes and cry. Oh, nice. That's some nice work there by your boy, the Schniz. And also a little help from whatever. I can't remember who actually wrote that song. Sometimes when we touch, the honesty's too much. And I have to close my eyes and cry. I want to hold you till I die. I don't know who that guy is, but I'm sure already YouTube's got the algorithm of me singing that song, and they're like, oh, you don't own this content. I'm like, I've got advertising turned off. But here's what happens, by the way. I turn off the advertising on the Song Club on this because who cares? There's like 250 million people listening to this podcast on YouTube. Could I make, I don't know, tens of thousands of dollars if I put ads up? Yeah, but would that be annoying? Yes, it would. I don't want to be annoying. You guys don't. But here's what happens. I turn the ads off, but then as soon as the YouTube algorithm, which is the thing in Terminator that comes and kills everybody, once it becomes sentient and starts building robots, that thing says, oh, you don't own this content. Some other company owns it. And they're greedy bitches. They're greedy bitches that want to make that, which is fine. It's a capitalistic society. There's a lot of people, they don't do anything. They don't make anything. They don't make the world better. They're not helping anybody. They're not like, oh, let me see if I can help somebody with their lives, make it better. Or maybe I'll teach something that I know that I'm proficient in and maybe enrich somebody's life with knowledge. No. There are people that all they do is try to scrimp and scrape and make those pennies come clinky clanky together. And they're bitches. They're fucking greedy ass bitches. And those people are the ones that turn the ads on. And then you're like trying to watch this on YouTube, and then every once in a while there's a Geico commercial, and you're like, what the fuck? Liberty Mutual? I've got insurance, bitch. Don't try to sell me anymore. I don't need it. If I do, I know where to find it. I've seen a million commercials with an ostrich, and they're not funny at all. Anyways, so I'm not the one turning on the ads, but because I sang a little bit of that song by that guy, I don't even know his name. It's probably ads now. And I ain't making that money. I'm producing the content. I'm fucking creating the greatest podcast to ever exist, maybe with the exception of, I don't know, maybe 3,000 or 4,000 podcasts that are better. But I mean, out of 1 million, that's pretty good. Like to be in the top 3,000 great podcasts out of the millions. I mean, I'm including the Chinese and Asian podcasts, which there's 10 billion of those. And I'm in the top 3,000 of those 10 billion. Even people that don't even speak English, just because of this, they're watching it. And they're just like, I don't know what he's saying, but he looked good. He looked good. We're gonna need more cowbell. I was practicing my Christopher Walken impression today. It's not good. I could use some more cowbell. If you could bring some more cowbell into the equation. It's not good. It's not good. The impression is not good. That started getting good, actually. Maybe that's what I need to do, is say the impression's not good in a Christopher Walken voice to get that impression bumped up. It's about a 4 out of 10. The impression needs to be bumped up to about a 7. I think I just dropped down to a 3. Damn it. It's leaking here. Maybe that crack in that window is a little bit more than I bargained for. Oh, by the way, this podcast was supposed to be out yesterday, but didn't have internet because ice storm. Now, did everybody in my neighborhood have internet except for like me and 3 other people? Yeah. Did I call Spectrum 100 times? Yeah. Did I? All my job when I was calling Spectrum was like, I want to talk to a human being, and I did. I talked to 3 human beings after talking to 45 robots. And the human beings, to their credit, were nice. But the human beings couldn't do anything. They did the same thing the robots did, which was say, hey, we can't tell you when you're going to get internet again. We can tell you that you're fucked. They didn't. But they could have. They could have said, hey, if they were really trying to be cool and honest, they would have said, hey, yeah, you're fucked. And we don't know how long you're going to be super fucked for. So enjoy it. Maybe lube up a little bit. Maybe get that butthole lubricated. Because you're fucked. No, they didn't do that. They were just like, yeah, we can't tell you, but we're working on it. We've got men in the area working on it. Or people in the area. I don't think they can say men. Even though I've been alive for over 35 years and never seen a woman cable person ever. I'm sure they exist. But yeah, they call them people now. So yeah, cable people are in the area and they're doing their best to work on it. And I believe them, except I walked around the neighborhood and I saw no people from Spectrum. That's the only game here where I live. There's no other Google. If there was, I would go any other way. John's Cable Internet Company. Start your own company, Frank Internet. I'll line up. I'll be the first one to do it because Spectrum sucks. So, but they're the only people that have it out here for me, so I got to use them. Anyways, there was nobody from Spectrum out here. There's nobody out here. Supposed to be some tree people picking up trees. Those people came into our neighborhood and they're like, these are too many trees. Like, I guess our neighborhood has a lot of trees that got broke. Anyways, they came in, they looked around, the tree people, they had like one truck. It's going to take 1,000 trucks to even, I don't know, do one street in my neighborhood. So I don't know how they're going to do it. I think they bit off more than they can chew, and they're realizing that. They got a mouthful of tree stumps, and they're like, shit. That happens sometimes. Anyways, we've got a lot of trees on the streets. It makes it real safe to drive around corners and stuff. And by safe, I mean, if safe means plowing head first into another vehicle at 35 to 40 miles an hour, super safe. All right, let's see what else was written this month. I think I only wrote 3 songs this month. It was a slow month, mainly because of that ice storm. And ice storm. Who knows? Anyways, yeah, 3 songs, but 3 songs is good. Or maybe it was, let's see, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 3 songs. Yeah, that's pretty good. All right, let's listen to another one. This one's called Walls of the World. It's in 3/4 time. That's waltz time. I started writing this song because I picked up the ukulele. And started doing something like that. I don't know. I started doing something like that, and then I was like, oh, this might be a song. Let's listen to it. It's called The Walls of the World. It's a banger. Hopefully this helicopter will pass soon. Damn, that's like the Gypsy Kings all of a sudden got back together and decided to get funky in 2023, even though I think most of those guys are dead now. But kind of a cool song. Oh, I just noticed that I've got my new, I got that new FAYM jam. If you're watching this on YouTube, this is the cover of my new graphic novel that just shipped out. If you pre-ordered it, you should be getting it any day, or maybe you've already gotten it. And then that's going to be available to the public here very shortly. I think we're having our book release in March, maybe, at Book People or something like that. So that's going to be fun. I've never done a book release before, even though I have published a few books now, mostly poetry. One art book. It's got a lot of penises in it, called I've Seen the End of the World, and it looks like this. But yeah, this will be cool. It was illustrated by this guy, Justin Barker, very talented young man. And it's based on the rock opera Fuck All You Motherfuckers, FAYM, that I put together, 17 years ago now. And it's finally coming, like one version of it's coming out. Now, there are 3 different versions of FAYM, Fuck All You Motherfuckers. The first one is a stage production. Haven't done it yet. We did do a run through at the Saxon Pub a couple times, maybe once or twice, where we played all the songs from the rock opera. But that's not really staging it. That's just playing the songs. But there's a stage production that hopefully at one day will be on Broadway, which I guess used to be called the Great White Way. There's no way on God's green earth, I don't even know if you can say green anymore, that's called the Great White Way. No way is that even possible that that's a thing anymore. But it's what it used to be called. Now it's just probably called the Way, the non-delineated by hue way. I don't know what it's called. Who fucking cares, really? But it's Broadway. It's Disneyland now, really, down there. But yeah, at some point, I'm hoping that it will be a Broadway smash hit, and also a movie. It'll be an R-rated movie. But I'm very proud of it. I think it's really cool. The story's really cool, and what's really neat about the graphic novel is you can see what the story is for the first time. You can read it and go, oh, that's what this is. So before that, I would have to explain to people, yeah, there's this guy, and he meets this like fairy godmother person, and they shoot up drugs, and then him and his girlfriend are murdered, but they come back to life, and what? It sounds crazy, but now you can read it in the graphic novel. So if you don't have it, get it. I think you can order it online. If not, come to the book thing in March. So that happened. Also, the other thing that happened this month, it's been a busy month, is I had an art show at Yard Dog. So I think that's up for another week or two. If you listen to this podcast and you're in Austin and you want to go check out some of my paintings, I decided to paint. I've always done like collages and stuff. I've done very little painting. I took some painting courses right before the pandemic to learn how to oil paint, which was great. And then the pandemic started, and I stopped doing art for at least a year, maybe more. And then 6 months or a year ago, I just started painting again and did a bunch of paintings. Anyways, those are all up at Yard Dog. And they're all kind of weird and strange. And I don't know what it is about art and me. It takes a certain amount of energy that what ends up happening is I'll start doing art and then I'll use up that energy, or I'll just get tired of whatever I'm doing. That happened a little bit with the painting. So I started doing these paintings. I was really excited at first, but it takes so long to do it. And by the time you're done, you're kind of like, do I even like this anymore? And then you have to start another one, and it's not, I don't know. It's hard for me to keep doing art. Now, music can be that way sometimes. You'll get to the point where you're like, I don't want to write anything today. but because I have a show every week at the Saxon Pub, I feel like I have to have new music every week. So I make myself write a new song every week, and most of the time that's fun. Anyways, it was fun this month. Let me play another song from this month's selection. I have 3 screens in front of me, and I can never find the mouse. Oh, there it is. So this next one's called Waking Hours. Now, I've been listening to this guy, Lewis Cole, not nonstop, but he's probably the person I've been listening to the most in the last 6 months. And he does all these really cool, like, harmonies, and he builds these chords that are really interesting. So I think I was trying to sound like him when I wrote this song. Let's listen to it. It's called Waking Hours. I'm going to crank it. Lately I've been starting these songs cranked, but let's get it cranked up. Here we go. Yeah. Hey. I've seen the gold spill out your mouth and fall into the air. I might have cranked it too much. And crash into the setting sun like it was hardly there. But never in my waking hours. I've sewn a pair of wings into my pockets and flown across the sky. I've worked these words into these rhymes to eliminate her from my mind, but never in my waking hours. No, only in my wildest dreams. Yeah. I've made myself into a diamond. I've made myself into a diamond. Look at how I shine. By the way, the record cover and title for this year's songs on the Song Club is called Diamonds. And you'll notice it when you get your songs that the artwork is a multicolored sort of rainbow diamond, which is really cool. It kind of reminds me of like the Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon album cover. I really like it, actually. And I was thinking after I made the cover that maybe I was like, oh, I should make my new album this cover. But I have another cover for my new album. And by the way, that's the other thing that's going on. In January, at the beginning of January, I got together with my buddy Max Frost, who's an incredibly talented songwriter-producer, and we recorded my new record. And what that entailed was me sitting there in the studio and singing the song and playing it on guitar, and then Max playing everything else, doing the programming, the drum programming, playing keyboards, singing, replacing my guitar with new guitar. Anyways, it just turned out fantastic. And because you guys are my Patreon members, well, if you are a Patreon member, you're going to be getting the record early. Now, it's being mixed right now. I can't wait for you guys to hear it. The album probably won't come out until this summer. But like I said, because you're on Patreon and because you're part of the Song Club, let me get you'll be getting it early. And you'll be getting it in its entirety. And so I'm excited for you guys to hear it. It's really cool. And also, I asked you all to send in your recommendations for what songs you'd like to hear on the album, and quite a few of those made it onto the album. It's a pretty eclectic album, very similar to King Kong or Blood and Bones, where there's some songs that just, like I put some rap songs on there, which it's never really a great idea, but I did. And then there's some really beautifully sad songs. If I was smarter, I would have probably just put all the chill sad songs together and then sent that to the critics with a subscription to, like, I don't know, some kind of a porn website. And they would have probably said, oh, we like this record. But since I included songs like Cheesecake Factory Bar and Buongiorno Baby and another one called Coming My Way, they'll be like, oh, ooh, this song's funky, or it's a rap song, or is this electronica or something? Anyways, it'd be too different for them, and they'd be like, oh, I don't like it now. But I will take your porn service subscription. Thanks. You're welcome, critics. Anyways, I'm getting off track. What I'm saying is the album's coming out, but you're going to get it first if you're a Patreon member, and if you're not, then you won't. Maybe I will play little bits and pieces of it here on the Song Club to let you know what it sounds like. Next, maybe I'll do a little bit of that next. It's called The Tease. I'll give you guys the teaser. The other thing I will do is I plan on doing a live stream now once a month. And again, if you're Patreon, you'll get the unlisted YouTube link, and that's where I can chat with you and see who's on here. It'll also be on Facebook and whatever else for people to see. So I will be playing some of the songs from the new album using the tracks from the new album when I do that. So you'll kind of hear it then as well. Anyways, I did a live stream last month. I'll be doing one here. I was going to do it yesterday. Of course, couldn't do it because I didn't have internet because Spectrum. But not next week, but the week after that, I'll do it. But if you're in the future, who knows? It may have already happened. It could have happened years ago at this point, if you're listening to this in the 30s or some time like that. All right, so those are all the new songs for this month, and now we're going to head back into the Wayback Machine and listen to some older songs that are part of this month's grab bag. Let's listen to this first one called Everything Is Easy. Now, this is a banger. This is what we call a rock song in the biz. So we're going to crank it up and check it out. This is called Everything Is Easy. Not to be confused with another song that I wrote last year called Everything Is Super Easy. It's a completely different song. Here we go. It'll start eventually here. Maybe it won't. Oh, this is nice. It's taking so long. I don't know why it is, though. Huh. Interesting. All right, well, let's not listen to that one. Let's do a different one. Let's do this one that sounds like a Tom Waits song. It's called... Oh, or a completely different song that I didn't even click on because the computer knows more than I do. This is a song called Hilda the Clone. And I think the AI wanted to hear this. And that's why we're hearing it. So, here it is, Hilda the Clone.
Hilda the Clone was never alone. She had a thousand sisters she never left home. Hilda the Clone, dirty Stallone, moved to Cologne, weighed 20 stone. Hilda the Clone, said it should be out of the bone. When she was free, Hilda the Clone, high quiet tone. Learned she was shown, the bed she grown. And everybody wants a little, but how do you do? Hilda the everybody wants a little, what do you say? And everybody wants a little, what do you know? Everybody wants a little, hey, hey, hey.
Everybody wants a little hey, hey, Hilda the Clone. I feel like that one, that's like from the 70s. That was like one of the early groundbreaking songs that was part of the, like, Brian Eno, me. There was like 3 other people, Gary Newman. There were a few people that were doing that kind of music back in those days. I was one of them. I was one of the forefronts of electronica. So yeah, that's called Hilda the Clone. It was spelled Klone, and I changed it to Clone for some reason. I'm not sure if that's better. I know that you spell clone Clone, but maybe there's a German spelling for it, and if there is, then that would definitely be with a K. But I don't know if the word for clone in German is clone. I mean, luckily I have a thing called the computer in front of me where I can go English to German and find out. So why guess? Why fuck around? Let's just figure out what it is. Clone in English is Klon. Klon in German. So it is with a K with no E. But if I wrote Hilda the Clone, you'd be like, what? Hilda the Clone? I'd have to add the E, so then it's wrong in German. So that's why I changed it to C. Now I know why I did. I didn't know why I did it, but now I do. I do a lot of things where I'm not sure why I did it. I just know I'm right. A lot of times I'll say stuff and then people will be like, well, what do you mean by that? Or that sounds wrong. And I'll be like, yeah, it might sound wrong, but it's right. And they'll be like, how do you know? And I'll be like, I don't know. And then later on I find out, oh, I was right. Because I have a feeling. That's the thing with my intelligence. Most of my intelligence is in my subconscious. Now, some people have that conscious intelligence and they seem real smart. They're the ones like, what's the answer? 500 billion times 23.7. They're like, ding, 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 beep, bap, beep, bap, beep, bap. And they're like, I am a computer. And people are, oh, that guy's genius. Is he though? Because he can add some numbers. I can add numbers too. Give me a Texas Instrument calculator. I'm a monkey. I know how to tick, 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 tick. Here's your answer. I know, but he can do it in his head. Who cares? And then there's people that can memorize stuff and then have a lot of information like, yes, in 1478, this dickhead fucking did this fucking bullshitty dickheadish shit. And then people are like, oh, he's a fucking walking encyclopedia. And then I'll say some shit like I just said, and they're like, oh, that guy's a dumbass. But here's the thing. I have this wealth of information just underneath my conscious level of being able to grasp it. That's where all the songs come from. And in that murky underwater realm of intelligence, where I do most of my thinking, all the answers are there. And so I'll just say, well, I think this is the answer. And they're like, how do you know? I'm like, I don't have no idea. And then I find out later that I'm right. And then people are like, well, you got lucky. Did I though? Or do I just know everything in my subconscious? I just can't access it consciously. I know this all sounds like some bullshit to some folks, but some people are like, I believe what you're saying. Because you're always going to find somebody who believes your bullshit. You will always find someone. And if you have no scruples, if you're a fucking sociopath, you can put together a group of folks that will fucking follow your every fucking command if you just sound confident on it. DJ Khaled did it. DJ Khaled said, here's the fucking shit, boy. And everybody was like, oh, that's the shit, boy. And I will say this, it was the shit, boy. But he just said it in such a way. Now he's got this following and people are like, oh, DJ Khaled, he the shit, boy. And then you're like, why? 'Cause he told me he the shit, boy. Yeah, you need to figure that shit out yourself. Don't have somebody tell you what it is. And then Just repeat it. That's the thing. There's knowledge that you just repeat back. That's not smart. That's being able to memorize some shit. What's smart is looking at shit and figuring it out and going, yeah, this is real. This makes sense. Or, oh, this is some bullshit. Anyways, most people, unfortunately, the majority of people in the world are unable to do that, which is fine. You don't have to be able to do that to fucking eat a cheeseburger at McDonald's. You can eat a cheeseburger without being able to fucking critically think about it. And that's what McDonald's is counting on. To make this billions of dollars. Man, this is the podcast where I talk about people making that money. Because it's going to cost me so much money to fucking get these trees taken care of. If I walked out of my studio right now, there's 2 giant oak trees that have fallen over. And it's kind of cool. It kind of looks like there was a battle from the Lord of the Rings out there, which is kind of cool. But also, I don't know. Part of me is like, fucking leave it. Leave it like there's been a battle. I mean, why do I give a fuck? But then part of me is like, well, what if what if the tree collapses and there's a kid underneath there looking for his tennis ball? That would be my kid, by the way. I have a kid that might be looking for his tennis ball. Her tennis ball. Anyways, fuck it. Who knows? All right. Here's what I'm going to try to do. I'm going to try to play the song that I just tried to play a minute ago called Everything is Easy, that it wouldn't let me play for some reason. But let's try it again, because sometimes you got to do it 3 times on this computer. There it is. Worked. Unbelievable. All right. Come on.
Up in the air with the flies.
Whoa.
Not feeling too good cause I'm sick of your goodbyes.
Whoa.
I got legs like a samurai.
Whoa.
But I can't see you stopping by.
Whoa.
I'm pretty sure where the money went.
What?
Doing on that quota with the president.
Yeah.
But when you kiss me on the diamond mine,
Yeah.
I seem to leave all my words behind. Cause you make it all easy. You make it all look cool. You make everything look easy. You make everything cool. Smack up, everybody knows. Try to hide it underneath your show. Tell me lies with your dirty mouth. All eyes on you when you move down south. Big Daddy got the diamond wheel. Feel a little better than you ought to sell. If I can't forget, we can seal the deal. When you walk into the room, man, it makes me feel you make everything look easy. Everything is cool. Yeah, you make it all look so easy.
Yeah, that's what we call a banger. You know, you don't have to be a music insider to understand what that means. You just have to listen to it for a second and go, oh, that's that banger, boy. So when was that? That was from, it says it's from 2012. Maybe it's from 2012. If it is, that's 11 years ago, which is weird. Because I have maps that I bought in the 90s where the world was going to end in 2012, and now it's 11 years ago, and the world has not ended. But I did have a tree guy come over, and he told me that these were the end times, and I was like, dude, don't tell me that. Because I listen to people when they tell me things. When people tell me things, I listen to them. I don't immediately discount it, no matter how crazy it is. Now, I listen to it and then I go, well, is this something I actually believe? And then I compare, and then I look at it and I look at the world. And I've been in the world now for over 35 years. And the entire time that I've been in the world, there's always been somebody saying, oh, this is the end times. But they've always been very adamant about it. They're always like, in the 70s, they were like, this is the end of the world. These are the end times. And people are like, maybe but they weren't. And then before 2000, there was like, oh, well, that's it. 2000's it. That's when the Mayan calendar ends, so it's over. It's all over now. And you're like, well, maybe. And then 2012, the new one was like, well, that's it. That's it. It's the fucking, this is the one. This is where it all, Jesus comes down. Everybody's fucking fucked. So now when I hear it, I'm like, well, I've heard it. I've heard it a bunch. Every time everybody's adamant about it. They're always adamant. So I don't know. Here's what I do know. I know me. I know what being a human being is. And I know what I'm capable of. And I feel like there are some people that can do some math shit, and maybe some people that can dunk a basketball, and maybe some people that can, I don't know, they have some skills that I don't possess, but I don't think anybody's too much different than me in terms of like ability and whatever. So I just think, well, I mean, everybody wants to believe in something bigger than their own life, but I don't know. All I know is my own life, and I like my own life. My life is big enough as it is. I got my family, and that's all I need. That's as big as it needs to be. I love playing music, and I love talking to you guys here on the Song Club and playing shows, making art. I love all of that. And it's all well and good. But I don't need for my life to be any more than that. I don't need it to be this other stuff that people seem to find necessary. Maybe it's because their lives aren't good or something. I don't know. Maybe that's what it is. But that's saying your life's not good. That's just you making a decision that your life's not good. All you got to do is look around, and there's lots of people's lives whose lives are really not good. We had this ice storm, and so I didn't have power for like 4 or 5 days. And so, but I had a car. There wasn't a lot of ice on the road, so I could actually get out of my house. We went to my parents' house one night. We went to my sister-in-law's house one night. We went to my ex-wife's house one night. And we stayed there on couches, and not couches, on beds. They all have guest rooms. They're not rich, but they're rich enough that they have a house with a guest room, these people. So we did that. But it sucked. And we got cars, and we got people that we know that have guest rooms, and it still sucked. And all I could think about was all these people, these refugees from like Syria and Ukraine, and where they just have to leave their country or their state or their city, and now they're just on the road with their families, and they don't have people with guest house where they can stay. They don't even know where they're going to go, where they're going to shower, where they're going to get their next meal. It's horrible. It made me really think, like, God damn, how great my life, how wonderful my life is. And I just hope everybody understands, like, if you're not a refugee, your life's good. And also, what can I do to help refugees? Like, there's got to be something I can do. Even if it's just being compassionate. Like, just be compassionate that there are people that are trying to find a place to call home that are at our border. Like, be compassionate towards those people. Because they're not murderers and rapists. I mean, there's plenty of murderers and rapists, but those are just people that are trying to find a place to live. And yeah, there's going to be a murderer and a raper in the group, just like there's going to be a murderer and a raper at the PTA meeting that you're going to go to if you have a kid. But don't get mad at the whole PTA meeting. don't get up in the middle of your PTA meeting and call everybody rapists and murderers because there's one or two in there. Have a little compassion towards your fellow parents and teachers at the association, for God's sakes. All right, let's listen to another one. This one's called Breaking, Not Broken. I looked at my iTunes for this song because I knew I hadn't dealt it out into the song club. By the way, this is Song Club 71. So to date, I have put out whatever 71 times 8 is. What is 71 times 8? 50, 560. If you've been a part of the Song Club for the last 4 years, you now have 560 songs that I have given you for, a little bit of that do, re, mi, fa. So don't get me wrong. I'm not giving it out for free. You're giving me a little bit of money, and I'm giving you a lot of songs. Anyway, if you just joined the Song Club last month, you get 560 songs for whatever measly sum you've decided to donate, which is a pretty good deal, by the way. It's too good of a deal, by the way. It's too good. But I'm not going to make a big deal about it. Anyways, I was looking for this song, Breaking Not Broken. Couldn't find it. I was like a research, like I was trying to crack a case. Where is this song? I know I wrote it. I know I've heard it. So I know it's in there somewhere. Turns out it's not called Breaking Not Broken. I called it Breaking versus Broken. And because of that, I couldn't find it because there's so many songs. Anyways, I found it. I think it's kind of a cool song. I've only played this song live maybe a handful of times, but I'm going to start. Maybe I'll start playing it. Let's listen to it and see if we even like it. I did like it earlier when I was putting this thing together. Oh, and there it is where it's not playing. That's cool. You don't know me. Oh, yeah. Neil Young. You don't own me. I'm trying to sound like Neil Young. You don't know me at all. It's okay to sound like Neil Young every once in a while, but not as long as I sound all the time. You wanna get high on me, and you wanna get by on me. When you sing it live, you don't sound like Neil Young. You wanna get high on me. You only sound like Neil Young when you're writing it because that's where it comes from. You don't know me. You don't own me. You don't know me at all. You wanna get high on me. You wanna get by on me. Advertisers. You wanna get high on me. You are mistaken. I'm breaking, not broken. And I'm not joking around. I do like that line. I'm breaking, not broken. Oh, I'm breaking, not broken. What a great line. Now, did I write it? Yeah. Was that the phrase? It was the phrase. Did I come up with the phrase? Maybe. I mean, probably, but maybe not. Some weeks, other people come up with the phrase. It's rare. So I probably came up with that phrase, but man, yeah, and that was basically me. I love Neil Young. I love Neil Young when he's singing like that. I'm not a big fan of when he's doing the rock stuff. It gets a little too much. But when he's being really sweet, he's got some song where he's like, the lyrics are, "I'm falling off the face of the earth," and I've stolen that. idea on a few songs at least. But yeah, he's great. He's a great songwriter, and he seems cool, and he's fucking Daryl Hannah, so good on you. Now, she's old, which is fine, but he's old. He's super old. He looks like the Crypt Keeper. She kind of looks like the Crypt Keeper. So they're kind of a match made in I don't know. Maybe it could be one of those things where I've seen bad pictures of him. I don't know. Maybe he looks better in person. I feel bad. Like, if he's listening to this podcast, my apologies, because I think you're a handsome man, and I think Daryl Hunt is a handsome woman, and you guys don't look like the Crypt Keeper at all. That was just me making a joke. Of course, if they're not listening, then forget what I just said. Speaking of trying to sound like something, one of my favorite songwriters of all time is Tom Waits. I listened to him a lot in my 20s. Like, he was my go-to. Because I'm depressed. Life was hard. I hated life. I was an alcoholic. I was always hungover or drunk. And so I had a hard time. And I would listen to Tom Waits songs, and all of the characters in the Tom Waits songs were like addicts and drunks and losers, and they were having such a hard time. I was like, I related to those characters, and also I felt better because I'm like, well, maybe I'm not as bad off as these characters in these songs. So I ended up wanting to write like Tom Waits, not sound like him when I sang, even though I did kind of want to sound like him, but not too much, because then people would be like, oh, you sound like Tom Waits. But I like the way he writes songs. So this next song is me definitely wanting to sound like Tom Waits, wanting to write a Tom Waits type song. And sometimes when I'm writing them, I'll just let myself go. Like, I'll take on the accent of whatever the thing is that I'm trying to copy. Because it's the demo. I figured nobody will ever hear it. Especially when this is from 2010, so this is 13 years ago, way before anybody put anything out on the internet like this. So I just figured nobody'd hear it, so I'll just let my freak flag fly when I'm recording it. And so now here it is later. I'm not going to re-record the vocals to make it sound less like Tom Waits, but you'll see, if you're a Tom Waits fan, that it does sound quite a bit like him. Here it is. Great Unfinished World with that Tom Waits sound.
I could tell you something that you won't believe. I ain't got nothing, baby, nothing up my sleeve.
Whoa.
God's at the gate, money's in the bank. 'Cause you ready to me, you got your stars to thank. But it's great, unfinished world.
World. That's what I'm talking about. That song's rocking. That song's worth the price of admission here to the song club. Ooh, let me get this little. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, that's what you get here in the song club. I'm not just. Here's the thing. There are all these people that have written a lot of songs. There's guys like, oh, I've written 5,000 songs. They all suck. They all suck. And so when I say I've written a couple thousand songs, there are definitely some clunkers in there, but I'm not giving you guys clunkers. Trust me, there's some clunkers, but I'm not. That's not what I'm dishing out here at the Song Club. I'm dishing out some quality shit, boy. So anyways, that's what's going on. I'm dishing up the quality servings of Shit like that. Anyways, we're getting at the end here. I don't know how to talk anymore. Here's what happened. I got COVID back in January, a year ago. Since then, haven't been able to talk well. Does it matter? Yeah, matters a lot. Have I decided to just fuck it and move on and just pretend that, it's always been this way? Yes, I have. And not let it stop me? What can you do? It's like when you lose a leg. Do you let it stop you from running in the Olympics? No. You get out there, you put on that fucking piece of metal, connect that to your fucking thigh bone, and you get out there and you fucking run those Olympic fucking sprints, boy. So that's what I'm doing. I'm running these Olympic sprints with about a half a brain. And I appreciate you being here. On the Song Club every month. This is where we're at. Go to Patreon, patreon.com/Bob Schneider. You can join today, get all these great songs like that last one. And you get songs like this, which was on, I had a record called, I think it's Perfect Day. And this song is on it, Hand Me Back My Life. But it's re-recorded in the studio. And what I've got here for you guys is the original demo. And the cool thing about these demos, I think, is the demo that you're hearing is what I recorded the day that I wrote this song. Before this demo, the song didn't exist. It's nowhere in the world. And then all of a sudden, a couple hours later, this song exists. And that's what you're hearing. Now, what ends up happening is I go into the studio, I re-record it with some really great musicians. They add their thing to it. I know the song, so I kind of sing it more in my own voice and less in some writing it voice where I'm pretending to be somebody. And so the demos are quirkier. They're more like the thing that influenced them a little bit more. They're kind of cool. I like the demos. I'm really happy that you guys get to hear them. Otherwise, they just sit on my computer. I wouldn't really put this stuff out necessarily. Maybe because I'm insecure or something, or I need you to love me. And so I really want you to hear the very best things, which is what the studio records are, I think. But I love listening to these demos as much as I love listening to the studio records. I don't really listen to either very much. I don't listen to the studio records and I don't listen to these demos. The only time I listen to these demos is when I'm writing them. So whatever I'm writing that week is what I listen to because I want to make it better or I want to edit it. And then after that, I never listen to it again because why? Anyways, but when I hear them, like that last song, Great Unfinished World, which I haven't listened to in a while, I'm like, wow, this song's banging. And I'm proud of it. I'm proud of some of those lyrics and I'm proud of some of those songs because they don't sound necessarily like, you got a lot of people like, I mean, that's a bad example because I'm on a ukulele, but you got a lot of people that just sound like, oh, these are songs that sound like a regular song. And to me, these sound, I don't know if original is the word, but they sound singular to me. They are their own thing. They're not necessarily like all the other songs that I've written. They're all over the map, which I love, which I'm very proud of. My favorite songwriters, Paul Simon, the Beatles, Queen. They when they were writing David Bowie, they wrote all different types of music, and that's what I want to do and what I love to do. And I get tired of the same thing. So I hope you feel the same way too. It's been fun hanging out with you here in the Song Club. I'm going to get out of here with this original demo of Hand Me Back My Life. The studio version's on, I think, A Perfect Day. And we'll see you next month. Hopefully we'll see you on the live stream. Or at a live show, maybe even in person, because I'm playing a bunch all over the country, and I should probably have those dates in front of me so I could tell you about them, but I don't. Anyways, as always, it's been a pleasure. Thank you.
with the car when I got back from the bank with the money, huh? And didn't you say your name was Natasha, but that dude called you Petrovka last night at the party, huh? And didn't you tell me you were single, but you're not single, you're married.
You're married.
To a Russian mobster.
Yikes.
What? And didn't you tell me that you love me, but you told me that you just said that to use me, and now I'm tired and through with you. Hey, hold on a minute, hand me back my life. I can't take any more of this shit tonight. Hey, hold on a minute,
Yeah.
hand me back my life. I can't take any more of this shit tonight. Didn't you tell me that you knew how to get back to the border? This ain't the border. This ain't the border. Didn't you tell me that there'd be somebody waiting for us in a van with like some dry clothes? Didn't you tell me that there'd be passports with our pictures on?